Once upon a time, many years ago, in a faraway land, and by many years ago I mean 30 or 40, and by a faraway land I mean Arizona, there was a man named Edward Abbey. Edward Abbey, in spite of the fact that he was a hippy-dippy environmental nut, is, in my opinion, one of the greatest writers that America has ever produced. And he wrote a fictionalized autobiography called The Fool's Progress, which is one of the greatest books ever written, if you ask me. Basically, if you admire any of the qualities that our society views as manly, read The Fool's Progress. There's a part where the character in The Fool's Progress, Henry Lightcap, who is a fictionalized version of Abbey himself, is arguing with his wife. And this is I forget exactly which time period. I want to say it's the 70s, but well, his wife is just going on this long, bitchy rant about feminism and male privilege. And Henry Lightcap just rips her a new one and pretty much makes her cry using only his words. And well, and there's one part that always really stuck with me. Like he asked his wife this hypothetical question: would a princess living in an ivory tower in merry old England really want to switch places with a male serf in the field? The answer to that is obviously no. And I'm not going to deny that there has been a patriarchy, and Edward Abbey touched on that too. And to paraphrase, might may not make right, but it makes what is, and whatever is right. But no, there has been patriarchy. Women are granted privileges that men aren't. Like in cases of sexual harassment or domestic disputes or divorce, the law always favors women. Because it's and this is demonstrably true. You know, even though I recognize this and I find it deplorable, I do not even remotely consider myself an MRA. Why is this? Because I'm not a whiner. I hate it when people think of themselves as part of some kind of victim group. And me, even though I am a white American male, belong to no less than 3 despised minorities, that is, mentally, sexually, and religiously. You know what? I am not a fucking victim. Once you describe the group you belong to as a victim group, you start thinking of yourself as a doormat. And as Kurt Vonnegut says, you are who you pretend to be, so be careful who you pretend to be. If you start thinking of yourself as a doormat, you're eventually going to become one. Mm. So even though, of course, I recognize that female privilege exists in these aspects of our society, because it's there and anyone with eyes can see it, but I'm not an MRA because I'm not a fucking crybaby. That is all.